If you want to learn how to make it through your degree while having autism and or ADHD, then keep watching so you can benefit from my 8 years of learning. So number one, set a time to stop working. For me, this tends to be around 5:30 or 6 p.m. in the evenings. That has been a little bit flexible because more recently in my master's in doc programs, they've had some practicum evenings that have gone till 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. And on those days, it's as soon as I get home, I am off work and I don't do any more work unless there is something extraordinarily urgent. And in that case, I kind of like go through a decision-making process to decide how urgent is it and do I really need to work on it right now? And this was a really important lesson for me to learn because during my bachelor's degree, I didn't do this for the first couple of years and found myself frequently burnt out and hella stressed and anxious because of it. And so once I started implementing my stop working time and actually forcing myself to relax, whether that just looked like sitting on the couch and watching YouTube, scrolling on my phone, reading a book, playing a game, etc., right? I was taking time to purposefully relax and to do something that I was interested in, so that I could kind of stock up on the dopamine and do the things tomorrow that I wasn't as interested in. And so for us who are autistic or ADHD, I think it's important to recognize that there are a lot of tasks out there that take a lot more energy from us than they do for neurotypical people. And so keep that in mind when you're scheduling your time and your days, and have a hard deadline for yourself in the morning or in the evening, however your schedule looks, to stop working for at least a few hours or the evening and take some time to purposefully rest and do something that you like. Lesson number 2, make sure you're eating, drinking water, and sleeping. When I get really stressed and I get really busy, I often notice that the first thing to go for me tends to be things in the kitchen, such as the dishes and then cooking. And so I often found cooking really hard for myself, and especially when I was in my bachelor's and master's programs. And the hardest thing about it was that I never had energy to cook once I got home. And so it led to a really bad habit, honestly, of not feeding myself enough to keep going. And it became a really bad habit that I've worked really hard to break. And part of that has been the helpfulness of my partner and having them here to kind of trade off tasks whenever I'm not feeling as up to it. But there are some things that I did before they moved here that helped me greatly that I wish I had implemented sooner. The first one being safe foods. Now, a lot of us who are neurodivergent often have foods that we can always eat and always be okay to eat. And for me, that tends to be sandwiches and salads for lunch and pasta and burrito bowls for dinner. And so whenever I get really, really stressed, it can also be really helpful to have a familiar food to eat that can help me kind of, 1, put nutrition in my body, and 2, make me feel better about my day and kind of help relieve some of that stress. And those are also all 4 things that are really easy to cook for me. Sandwiches and salads take minimal time to put together. You just literally throw things on 2 pieces of bread or into a bowl or on a tortilla even. I've done that before as well, and wraps are also very awesome. And then for dinner, both of those usually don't take more than about 30 to 40 minutes for me. It really is just how long the pasta takes to cook and how long the rice takes to cook for both meals. But having go-to meals has been really helpful for me, so that I know there's something that I can cook when I'm low energy, so that I'm still able to get nutrition in my body and I still have energy to do the things that I need to do, and I'm not feeling hella burnt out. Another really big thing has been water. Now, when I was younger, I used to hate drinking water for whatever reason. I think I just didn't like the taste of the water that my parents had at their house. And as I've gotten older, I've tried to make drinking water into more of a habit for myself. And it's been a struggle because if you're ADHD or you're autistic, it is really, really hard to form new habits. It is uber difficult. For years, my mom tried to get me to drink water regularly, and I actually really didn't get into the habit of being able to do that until this year. And it was largely because my mother gave me a bunch of water bottles when I was younger, which I am greatly appreciative for. I have a whole part of a shelf on my pantry that is full of water bottles, and all kinds of water bottles too, right? None of them were ones that I really picked for myself and bought with my own money. And a lot of them tended to be taller water bottles. And I found out recently that I think a shorter water bottle often works better for me than a taller water bottle does. So several months ago, I went online and I bought a biker's bottle. So this is what cyclists usually put in like the cup holders on their bicycles, and so they can drink while they're riding. And I really like it. It has a lock on top and it's small, which means it's easy for me to carry, and I can put it in my backpack and in my car with almost no issue. And me having it around and making it a point to carry it around with me, especially when I go to class, when I go see clients. Like, none of my clients care that I bring a water bottle with me into the therapy room because most of them bring drinks in there themselves. And I'm talking a lot. A lot of my jobs are talking. And so my throat dries out really easily. And so having the water bottle on hand so I don't start randomly coughing in the middle of a session or in the middle of teaching has been very, very helpful. And so if you're someone who also struggles with drinking water like I did, I highly recommend you take your time to really find a water bottle that you like and that suits you and that brings you joy. Because if you like it and you're interested in it and you pay for it yourself, I think you're probably more likely to use it, because that's what happened to me, right? I was more easily able to carry this around with me, to use it. And I do drink a lot more water now than I used to. So it's definitely been a step in the right direction. And along with that, let's talk about sleep. I know if you're a uni student, it can be really, really hard to have a regular sleep schedule sometimes. Things are crazy busy, you're stressed, and chances are if you're autistic or ADHD, probably might have some sleep problems, trying to fall asleep or stay asleep or wake up in the mornings. And trust me, I get it. I tend to have problems falling asleep and staying asleep specifically. And once I'm awake in the mornings, I can't go back to sleep. And that's my biggest issue, because if I don't get enough sleep, I am the crankiest person to ever exist. What's been really helpful for me has been establishing a time to move from the living room into the bedroom onto the bed, and also a time to get off my phone. Because a lot of my friends tend to be night owls, I tend to be more of a morning bird. And so it has been really hard to adjust my sleep schedule so that I can still hang out with my friends and get the sleep I need and wake up at the time that I like to wake up. And I've actually noticed that on the days that I am able to more routinely stick to my bedtime, I am able to get up in the mornings and do yoga. We interrupt this production for a Persephone carrying a sushi. Hi! You want to come join the video? We are joined by my cat, Persephone. Say hi, honey. Persephone. Okay. We're not saying hi any more than that. Now I gotta fix the camera. Oh no. So I really like yoga, and I find that it helps me focus a little bit better. So on the days that I'm able to get better sleep, being able to wake up in the morning and do yoga feels so good. And it helps me kind of start my day off on a more positive note, because I really love yoga. I did a lot of it in undergrad just because of how like classes panned out and everything like that. And I really enjoyed it. I am trying to do it more to get more exercise into my routine, which is another thing that I've been trying to be mindful of and trying to figure out ways that work for me. I think doing yoga in the mornings has been my most successful attempt thus far. But I also noticed that when I get my good sleep, that I have more bandwidth in my head to get things done that I don't necessarily want to do during the day. Right? So like doing the dishes or doing a piece of homework that I'm not particularly a fan of doing. Like right now I'm taking an advanced statistics course and I am not a math person in the slightest. And so doing stuff for that class is extraordinarily hard to do. So I find that the days that I get better sleep tend to be the days that I'm more willing and able to do those tasks that I don't want to do. Number 3 is to make lists. And one thing that I wanted to add in is that this has become like a thing between me and a lot of my clients where we'll joke about how much we like making lists. And for real, it has been like, it's been such an odd experience because yes, lists really help, but I don't know why. And I don't know if there's even like anything out there that tells you why, but I'd be curious to find out. And I might do a search after this video to see if there's anything that I can find. And I know a lot of folks on here, a lot of organization people, and a lot of like just general productivity type folks tend to use Notion. And I have been put onto Notion as well, and it has grown on me so much once I figured out how to use it because it is flexible and I can structure it the way I need it to be structured. It took me watching a few YouTube videos myself to learn how I could use it and the things that I could do with it. But once I did that, oh my God, I have found that keeping everything there has made my life that much easier. It actually makes me excited to track my homework and get my homework done, to track what content I need to do and get that done, and just keep everything else that's going on in my life right now all in one spot. And so if you haven't tried Notion before, I highly recommend that you try and see if it works for you. I have really liked it. I know quite a few of my clients have really liked it when I've suggested it to them. And at some point, I'll probably make a couple of videos on my own Notion setup and how I put it together for myself. And if y'all are interested, I'd be more than happy to put together a template for people. But what works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. And I encourage you to maybe just watch the videos that I put out as inspiration and ways to learn what you can do on Notion, not necessarily how you need to put something together that will work for you. In my experiences, the greatest thing about Notion has been the ability to write things down and put it all in one place and essentially make a wiki for yourself, which keeps you organized and able to find everything. And I have a little dashboard page that I use that I just continually add to for the important things that I need to keep in mind. And like I said, someday I'll probably give a tour of my Notion if y'all are interested. And I highly encourage you to check it out yourself. And if you're still in university right now, they actually have an education plan that you can get, and you can get some of their more premium features on that education plan. And that education plan is free. It's free. So if you have a student email, you can plug it in and you can get their education plan for free, which includes a lot of their more premium elements that usually you would have to pay for. This is not sponsored, by the way. I just have played around with it a lot, and I found this out from another creator. And so I wanted to share it with y'all as well, if that's something that is holding you back from trying out Notion. Number 4, clean your space. And I know I am a broken record. Trust me, if you've grown up with ADHD or autism, chances are you've heard before, clean your room 1,000,001 times and you can never seem to keep it clean, which I totally get because that has been me for the majority of my life. Specifically, my desk tends to be the place where a lot of things just gather and pile up, and then I can't even bear to sit at my desk because there's just too much stuff on my desk and I can't handle it. A few months ago, I picked up this book titled The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, The Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing by Marie Kondo. And if you've heard people sing her praises before, trust me, I am now among the people who sing her praises. And I've seen a lot of ads on Reels especially that have been targeted towards ADHD folks because a lot of us often have a really hard time organizing and keeping things decluttered. And trust me, I have tried a lot of organizational tips. I have tried buying like the bins. I've tried, all of that stuff. None of it has kept my stuff decluttered. And yet a couple months ago when I bought this book and I read through it, and I've been going through the KonMari method, or Marie Kondo's kind of outlined steps to go through things. It has been one of the most life-changing experiences that I've ever had. And my desk has been clutter-free for at least a month now. At least, maybe 2 months. But it's been a lot better than it has in years past. You know what, actually, let's go see my desk. Hi, now you can see me from another angle. So this is my desk, my setup, and as you can see, I have like your average desk. I have a printer which takes up a lot of space and it's kind of annoying. I want a longer desk because of that, but I don't have nearly as many papers on my desk as I used to. Literally, it's just my monitors, my keyboard. I have like a little sticky note container because I play a lot of video games that require like a lot of things that I have to collect and build up. And then it's just like my camera and my headphones, and that's it, right? I also have a mini PC, and there tend to be a lot of cords on my desk, which can make things a little bit harder, and I eventually want to not have those there. But right now I can't really help it because I just am limited on the space that I have, and all the cords go to very important things because I also stream as well as, you know, doing the editing, and I do homework on my computer. I do all kinds of things on my computer, y'all. And I have a mini PC, which thankfully it doesn't take up as much room as it could, but the cords are really what irks me. And at some point, someday, I'm gonna move that so that it's out of sight, so that I can still reach the cords if needed and I don't look like I have a giant mess of cords sitting on my desk. And in another video, I'll make a point to talk more about my experiences going through the KonMari method, because the way that she works with cleaning and tidying makes me feel like she is autistic or ADHD herself, and she has a special interest in tidying. Like I said, I have never really been able to keep my desk clutter-free for years of my life, like literally years of my life. And this is the first time where I haven't had a giant stack of papers cluttering my desk because of Marie Kondo. So thank you to Marie, and you will hear me sing her praises probably more in a lot of my other videos. And I want to be honest, a lot of these things took me a lot of time, stress, and effort to learn, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I'm hoping that by making this video, I can make your journey a little less stressful if you're trying to chug your way through uni and you are struggle busing. I hope this video has helped in some way. And like I said, I'm probably going to make some videos on at least my Notion workspace as well as my experience with the KonMari method. I might also make a video about my safe foods and how I make them and how I grocery plan for them. And anything else y'all are interested in, make sure you leave your questions in the comments so that I know what would be helpful for you to learn about from my experience. And again, all of this is my own experience with what has worked for me, and it may not work for you, and you may have to adapt it so that it works for you, but I hope it can be helpful in some way. So if you've stuck around to the end of the video, thank you so much for your time and your energy. I appreciate you sticking around, and I hope you learned something helpful from my video and from my experiences. If you're interested, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button to see more of my content. And as always, I will catch y'all on the flip side.